Hey, so I've been seeing a bunch of people recommend beginners learn wave management and stuff, and I don't agree with that, so that's what this video is all about. I think there's more fundamental things to learn, like obviously wave management, like learning how to freeze, learning when to freeze. That stuff's super useful, but I think you should learn how to CS properly before you do that, so here we are. First things first, why would you want to learn this stuff, like proper way, quote unquote, proper way to do it? Is number one, you get more gold, obviously, so that's good. League of Legends is a game of resources, you know, we have mana, gold, experience. More gold is good. Two, you'll have consistency in your games. Again, resources, you know, getting your items faster or getting your items like, you know, more consistent is better. You'll learn more of like what to expect from your champion and stuff. You'll, you know, have your items at a certain time. You'll get used to it. And then you'll figure out like when your champion is strong, and then you can play based around that knowledge. So it's really helpful in the long run. And three, it's like a fundamental skill in League of Legends. It doesn't matter if you're top, mid, bot. Even if you're a support player, this is really important. Junglers, not so much, but you know what? Still good to know. It's weird to say that, oh yeah, you should learn how to farm as a support. Like how is that useful? It's actually, I'm a support main. I main Soraka. And I learned to farm off of watching my AD carries do it wrong, right, and everything in between, and then just practicing it myself. So it has come in handy quite a bit, actually. A couple of reasons to do it as a support is, number one, you can gauge your AD carry skill level, which I think is actually kind of a big thing if you play solo. If your AD carry is just kind of like hitting stuff, you can tell an AD carry like doesn't know what they're doing if they're just sitting here like doing this. You know, they just click on the thing and then they just wait for stuff to die. So if you see your AD carry doing stuff like that, you can tell like, oh, maybe this person isn't quite experienced, maybe they don't really know what's going on, or they're just not paying attention, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't put all my trust in this AD carry. So you should start, you know, hitting tab, looking at your other teammates and seeing like, oh, who else is doing well? Who else has the farm? Who else has the kills? Maybe I'm going to play around that person this game instead of my AD carry. Not to say you should abandon your AD carry, but yeah, whatever. Reason number two to learn it as a support is you can help your AD carry farm. Sometimes there's just situations where the wave is kind of messed up because, you know, you're fighting, you're using abilities, they hit the minions and it gets weird. You can help them out, correct the minions, especially for tower. We'll talk about how to farm under tower, but you can help them a lot. And number three, you will get more gold, because sometimes you notice that AD carry is gonna mess up their CS, and you're like, oh well, you're not gonna get it, so I might as well try. I don't actually recommend doing that too much when you're like lower elos, because low elo players tend to just get pissy about it. They're like, oh, you're auto attacking my minions. Even if they're not going to get it, they don't know that they're not going to get it. So they just think you're stealing the money, even though they're just wasting their own money. It sucks, but, you know, sometimes you have to not do optimal stuff to make sure they don't leave the game, I guess. I don't know, people get pissy, dude. But it is strictly better if a support gets the goal instead of it being wasted. So, you know, use it at your own risk, I guess. Okay, so how to actually do this. One, I recommend hopping in the practice tool. I'm in the practice tool. And this is where you're going to learn. First things first, I'm going to respawn the minions, and I'm going to lock my level. There you go. Lock your level. You don't want to level up. Do your normal rune setup, normal runes that you would for your champion. Get your normal starting items that you get for your champion, and then go out and practice. That's how I'd recommend setting this up. Obviously, practice in live games, of course, but if you're just learning, this is a good way to do it, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd recommend you start off just, you know, shooting things at first. Keep in mind of your S key. S key will just stop you in your tracks, and then try to aim that. Just time your autos to kill a minion. That's basically it. And then, you know, as you learn, eventually you'll get better at it, and you won't have to like stand around so long. You can like click more instead. You can do like walk around and try to get your last hits. You know, eventually as you get more and more comfortable, maybe you can set up a dummy so you can walk around last hit, and every time you're not in last hitting, you can walk around. Do this so you can like shift your attention between targets and be like, oh, I have a headshot, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, and then, you know, that minion, go back to my target and then keep watching, and then you kind of try to do it this way. But again, not as a beginner. This might be a bit too much, so yeah, do that, you know, just progress at whatever pace is comfortable for you, I guess. But you can always add more complexity, and of course add like AI games or actual live games. Okay, for the actual learning how to CS itself, I recommend you walk up to the first like melee minion. I don't think it really matters, but you just walk up, shoot it, and take note of how much damage. I don't recommend doing it on test dummies because these do 75. I believe Caitlyn autos do like 80-ish with my runes and stuff. Take a note of damage and gauge how much damage you do. Like actual health bars. Look at the health bars when you shoot them. About that much. If it helps, you can click on them. You can actually see the health. This is a little harder because, you know, it's a little... You have to split your attention, especially when there's opponents. That's kind of fucked. But yeah, this is a not bad way because you don't want that to happen. Yeah, you don't want to last hit a minion or try to last hit a minion when it's not a guaranteed kill. It's better to time your attack when they're gonna have, you know, not when they have 75 HP or 74 HP. Time your attack to when they're gonna have like 40 or like 30 HP. Like guarantee you're gonna get that. Make sure you like try to overkill with your autos, I guess is what I'm saying. Or, you know, or abilities. You can, that's fine too. I mean, time it better, but yeah. Tip number 3, your autos are a cooldown. I don't know if people really recognize that, but yeah, you're just like your abilities. I can't spam Q. I can't spam autos. Even if I like A-click, I can't do it. I have to wait on my timer. It's a little weird, especially on the 80 carries, because, you know, you get items that increase this, so it's a little funky. You have to just get used to it. You know, these autos really count in lane, especially, you know, higher level. Early on, it doesn't really matter, but when there's minions and opponents to get to, trading, poking is going to be a thing. So you're going to really want to put some more weight on these auto attacks. They're not just nothing. This is really good because that's kind of more advanced thing, because again, this is why farming is such a core skill, because this leads directly into like trading, poking, laning. You know, farming is laning. Because you're going to be having to deal with an opponent in your face. So learning how to, like, you know, shift between abilities, autos, and shift your attention around. A lot of people might say, like, oh, he's multitasking really good. It's not. You're just kind of focusing on one thing for a while. Like right now, I saw this guy taking damage, so I'm switching. I'm looking at this guy. I saw this one taking damage, but I'm still over here. And every once in a while, I just glance back. I'm like, oh, look, this one's taking damage. And now I'm here. Oh, this one. And now I'm here. I'm like, oh, that one. Whatever. You just focus on one thing at a time. It's kind of a little messy because I had like a ton of minions. Because practice mode is a little funky. But, you know, you just focus your attention. Like, look at here. While I'm autoing this, I don't have to aim. It's because I'm, you know, I'm locked on. So I'm watching this. And then come back and then I'm looking. Like, like where I click doesn't really matter. So I just click and move. You know? I'm like, oh, these two are taking damage. I'm looking at that. Boom. This one. Back. Now, like, this one's taking damage. This one's taking damage. But nothing needs to be killed right this instant, so I'm just chilling, you know? And they're gonna be kind of close, so there you go. That's how you last hit. What you auto and where you auto matters. This is, again, it's more of an advanced thing when you're dealing with opponents. But, like, you know, your opponents have the same deal. If they choose to walk up and auto a minion, that's one auto that's not headed towards you. So you might want to consider like walking up, shooting them real fast, and then backing up. That's your chance to boom and then come back. A lot of people, especially low elo, they just don't know what the fuck is going on. So you get a lot of free shots on them. Sometimes they just like die. They just kill themselves from standing to where they shouldn't be and then beat them down. You're like, okay, sure. If you want to let me beat you down, that's fine with me, man. Tip number 4, it kind of goes with what I was saying earlier when I was like looking here, looking there. It's not multitasking. It's I'm focusing on one thing kind of quickly and I'm shifting between things kind of rapidly. Not super duper fast. You know, I've been playing the game for like years, so you get experience. That helps. One thing that helps, by the way, helps a ton actually. It kind of messes up when cannons minions are around. But take a look at these caster minions. They're auto attacks. Notice how bright they are. They kind of stand out. I mean, look at this guy fighting. Melees. Their autos don't really make a splash. Sometimes there's a little circle. Boop. Whatever. These are way easier to see, obviously. And that's for a reason. It's because you're supposed to pay attention to them. These guys hurt. Caster minions actually hurt. When their auto attacks land, you can actually see them chunk health bars, you know? So that's kind of important to know how much damage is being output to a minion. So you can time your auto attack to actually land the last hit. Look at that chunk. That's a decent chunk, man. Just paying attention to what these guys are auto attacking is gonna tell you what your next last hit is gonna be. Now it's this guy. Or if 2 minions went over there, like, oh, it's gonna be that one. So I'm looking at this one now. That's gonna be my next one. These might change because there's a new wave, and obviously cannon minions take priority. Whatever they shoot is probably gonna be your next one. Oh, they switched, so that kind of got fucked. Hey, hey, I saw that one taking hits, so that one's gonna be the next one. It's gonna be between these two. This one's taking more damage. I'm gonna boom. Gonna wait like a couple, like 2 more shots. 1, 2. I love a good chase. And yeah, you just look at that. It also helps like gauge your damage on like when you need to shoot. So I was looking at this one. I don't know if you saw that. I was looking at this guy because he was taking damage, but then I saw like 3 or 4 autos coming at the one in the back. I'm like, oh, that one's getting fucked up. I'm gonna shoot that one instead. So paying attention to your minions gets you. You get more money just looking. So that's a big thing to note. Look at your casters. They will tell you what your next target is, and they help you gauge like the damage and stuff. You kind of get used to it. You might want to just sit there and like stare and be like, oh, look what they shoot. They are kind of sporadic, as you saw. They like just switch targets. They like saw something and saw something else. It's kind of fucked. And tip number 5 is under tower. This one's a little weird. There's some rules. I'm gonna explain them, so I have to reset the minions again. For learning how to CS under tower, the way I would set it up is turn on tower invincibility to make sure they don't take damage. I would set up an what is this? A dummy, an enemy dummy behind the tower. Basically, the way this works is you're gonna have to set up minions. For the melee minions, the tower will actually do it for you. It'll take 2 tower shots, and then it's ready for you to last hit. The caster minions will take 1 prep auto from you, 1 prep auto from the tower, and then they're ready to last hit. Generally speaking, of course, different champions have different stats, so this might not work for everyone. It gets a little funky. So these guys, they should take 2 shots, 1, 2, and they're mine. So while this is happening, I'm prepping the guys down here. Ready. I have a headshot, so that one's free, and boom. So yeah, it's systematic. You just don't fuck up. Just wait. Boom. So the hardest part is just making sure you get everything in time. This is part of the reason why it's helpful to do this as a support. To learn to do this as support, because you can prep these for your AD carry. Again, different champions have different stats. So I know like my main Soraka, who I tried learning how to last hit with, she cannot properly prep these guys. So Soraka would actually have to auto them and then wait 2 tower shots and then auto again. But as you saw with Caitlyn, that doesn't work. I have to do it the old-fashioned way. What I have noticed is some top laners, you wouldn't have to prep the casters basically, as some top laners. Not all. Probably they're just the ones I happen to play. That doesn't work. So probably like a Darius, that wouldn't work, as you could probably just do it. If I was Darius right now, that and then an auto would probably be enough. But for Caitlyn, it's not. So you have to prep it, auto, prep, or less it. That's just how that works, Of course, as you get more items, you'll be doing all right. Probably with like 2 long swords, maybe. Yeah, so that's enough. Boom. So depends on your stats. Can't really help you there. That's just experience, baby. Good luck. What is happening with these guys? Oh my god. So yeah, take some time. Obviously, there's a practice tool. Practice. Figure out how your champion works, and that's it. Again, it's just familiarity with your character, your champion, your items, etc. Your runes, your setup, whatever. Get more familiar, figure this shit out, and you will become way more consistent in your farm. Again, this thing just takes practice. All of this, being able to do this. I know that one's fucked, so why auto there. These guys are fucked up. A tower shot from this would kill them. So I'm just gonna auto them to death. I'm just gonna tank it, and then hey, that's fine. Most people would be like, oh, I'm taking damage, I'm gonna back off. You'd waste your CS unless you use an ability, of course. But yeah, so that's how you get good at last hitting, I guess. Again, progress at your own rate. Do whatever you gotta do. Again, yeah, practice at your own rate. As you learn from just like watching and last hitting like this, eventually, yeah, add movement. Eventually, add a target. Eventually, incorporate abilities. And of course, you have to practice against people. That's like a no-brainer. If you wanna like really lane, you have to lane. Again, this is like a very core fundamental thing in League for all champions, all roles except maybe jungle. still not bad to learn. Again, learning like wave management, not a bad thing. It's just I wouldn't recommend it early on to beginners. I would much rather they know how to last hit. So yeah, that's kind of my quick little guide, quick and dirty little guide to learning how to CS properly. Again, it does take practice, no shame in fucking up. And of course, there's a ton of stuff to learn. After you learn last hitting, there's like obviously watching your opponent, bot lane, watching two opponents, watching your support, where they're doing, or where they're at, what they're doing, and eventually, you know, looking at the map, etc., etc. There's always more and more stuff to pay attention to, but I think just learning how to last hit, paying attention to the health bars, paying attention to how much damage you can output, paying attention to your abilities, what you can use, what you can hit, is super key to like transition you into those further skills of like the further skills of like paying attention to your map, tracking the jungler, watching out in team fights, right? The things you're doing right here, like, oh, I'm watching out for how much damage is hitting the minions so I can last hit properly, like this. That's gonna come in handy as an ADK. That's gonna come in super handy later in the game, in the same game you're playing right now, when it comes to team fights, because all of a sudden you're not gonna be watching how fast your auto attack can reach the minion. Suddenly you're gonna be paying attention to like things like, oh, where's the Malphite looking at? Is he have ult? Is he looking at me? What's the range on that ult? Is Kha'Zix nearby? Is he gonna be jumping at me soon? Etc. etc. So paying attention to this stuff helps you pay attention. You know, it trains you to keep your eyes sharp and keep your fingers loose, I guess. I hope this helped. I hope it made sense. If you have a question, please leave it in the comments. I will respond. You know, if you have a question, I'm sure tons of other people have questions, and hopefully answering it helps everyone, not just you. So yeah, hope that helped. Good luck out there. Like and subscribe, etc., etc. And yeah, bye bye.